Hello friends, welcome to the practical series of for subject kinematics of manufacturing machines. So as we have to carry out different experiments in kinematics of manufacturing machines, as a first part of that, uh, we have to basically as a first practical, we have to write a program, computer program, um, for the analysis and synthesis of a particular mechanism, any mechanism like your 4-bar chain mechanism or single slider clamp mechanism. Okay. So as a preliminary part to start with this particular animation of these mechanisms, first of all we'll try to learn how to start the any software for preparing the programs for your animation. Okay. So basically we may use any kind of programming languages like your C language we may use, C++ language we may use, or MATLAB we can use. Then um, there are many other computer languages are there. We can make use of those to prepare those animations that we have to actually do in the first part of this practicals in kinematics of manufacturing machines. Okay, so let us start with any one of the programming language where we can prepare the uh, animation for the 4-bar chain mechanism. Okay, as a preliminary part in this particular video virtual lab, we are going to learn how to start the C language, what are the important parts of this C language, and then how to write the simple programs in the C language. Okay, so once you understand the first part, the basic parts of C language, then we can easily write the big programs for any purpose. Okay, so in the coming videos we are going to learn about how to write the actual programs for animations. Okay, so in this video we are going to learn some basics of the programming languages to start with the animations. Okay, so let us start with that. So first of all, in your PC we must have the setup of the C language. I just have downloaded that C language programs from this site. You can see this site codeplex.com, and then we can download from this particular link and then do the setup. Okay, so after setup you will get such kind of icon on your desktop like this MS DOS Turbo C++. Okay, so then to start with this language, first of all we have to double click on this Turbo C++, and here we have many options here: new project, new source file, open project, open source file, open pre-compiled exe file. So we have different options. So let us start the Turbo C++ as a basic basics of C language. Okay. Once you click on that, then a blue window will be appeared. Okay. So this is the process. Okay. Now first of all, this gray window has been appeared. So here for writing the program, we have to first of all click on the file and new. So once you click on the new, then this particular blue window will be popped up. Okay, with this name, no name 00.cpp. Okay, so it means that we have not stored yet this file in the computer. So by default, it will take this name. Okay, no name 00.cpp. Now here, this is called as the workbench of C language. Okay, this is called as workbench of the C language. So there are different menus available in the C language, right? We can make use of those menus to write the programs, or those menus are going to help you while creating the program. Okay, so um, the entire body of the program that you have to write here in this particular blue window. Okay, in this blue window we have to write the entire program. The program consists of three parts. This complete program body consists of three parts. One is the top part or the header part. Okay, one is the header part, second is the starting of the program, and third is the actual program. Okay, so here initially we have to actually start with the headers. Okay, this first part is for the header, then after that we have to start the program, and then we have to write the program and end it that way. Okay, so writing the programs are not so difficult for any particular applications. Okay, so here At the start, we have to first of all specify some header files. So we'll see the what is purpose of header files, then how to start the program. Okay, so some header files I will write here. So header files are written starting with the hash, starting with the hash. Okay, hash include. So this is standard one. So we have to always write hash include, and in this bracket we have to mention the name of the header file. Okay, initially when you are writing the simple programs, we need stdio.h. So stdio means standard input output.h. Okay, standard input output. You know, in any program, when you are writing the program, obviously we need inputs and outputs. Okay, to the program. So to tackle and to handle that input and output, we need to have this particular file in your headers. Okay, include hash includes stdio.h. So this is almost common for all kind of programs, this particular file. Then another file is hash include conio. Just before that, stdlib dot h. So stdlib stands for standard library. So this standard library consists of different keywords that you are going to use in the C language as commands. Okay, different commands, those are stored as a keywords in the file stdlib. So we have to actually include that file also, because we are going to use those keywords in the uh, your program body. Okay, another file that we have to include is your conio.h, that is console, con input output dot h, console input output. So obviously when you are running the program, we have to console the program, right? You have to console the program. Now we are going to write a simple program here so that you will understand. Okay, so this is the first part, that is the top part, that is called also called as the header part of this program. Once you include all the files that you wanted to include, then start the program using main or void main. Okay, main or void main. So let us start with the void main. I will tell you what is the meaning of main and void main. What is difference? So main means what? When you write this main word and this bracket open and close, it means that the next part of the this particular programming body is the main part of the program that you have to execute. Okay, so this instruction is giving to the computer that the next part will be the main body of the program that the computer has to execute. Okay, what is difference between void and void main? You can see in main, basically main is a function. Okay, that returns a value. Okay, main is a function that returns a value, but sometimes it may happen that the you may have only the program with you. Okay, that we are going to write only the program. Okay, not the function. In that case, we have to void that particular return value. So therefore in such cases we may use void main. Okay, if you want to write a function, then use the main, and if you don't want to write a function, we have to write a program, then use void main simply. Okay, so in the coming lectures you are going to understand it in very depth. Okay, so uh, we have typed here the simple bracket. Okay, circular bracket open close, then this your curly bracket we have to start with. Okay, main body of the program. Now there are different keywords or the functions that you have to use in the program. Like if you want to print something on the output screen, then there is a keyword or the command to print anything on the output screen is your print screen. So printf, print the print function. Okay, print function printf. Okay, and then the bracket, and at the end you must uh, uh, type here semicolon. Okay, then within the parenthesis we have to write anything that we want to print. It has no meaning to the computer. Okay, like let us say I'm writing here my name is Mangesh, so I'm writing over here. Okay, then let us assume that I have ended this particular program over here. Okay, so my program is completed here. I want to write only this particular sentence on the output screen, and it is a good habit to always go for compile. Okay, when you compile, then you can see this particular window will pop up. It will show you the warnings and errors. If no errors are there, it means that your program is correct. Correct means that there are no errors. Basically, it doesn't look logically. It doesn't actually scrutinize your program logically, but it will only show if error is there, any error is there. Okay, in the computer. And warnings means that some warnings are there which are actually giving you some idea that instead of a particular line, another line may be there like that. So warnings are not that very harmful for your the programs, but errors are there. Okay, if error is there, no program will not run. Now no error is there, so it means that now we can run this program. So we can um, click on this run and then run. Okay, so program has run. Program has run and again came out of the run, but that happened in very fraction of second. So to see that, just simply click Alter F5. Simply click Alter, press Alter and then F5. It will show you the previous output. You can see here the output was my name is Mangesh. Okay. Now, if you want to keep this particular output on the screen continuously till you press another button, so for that we have another keyword, that is get ch, bracket open close and semicolon. Okay, now if you run this particular program, you can see, then you will come to know that okay, now you can see the output has been uh, printed on the output screen. Okay, my name is Mangesh, but you can see here now twice this the same sentence is appearing. It means that you can see um, the previous result and this result both are there on the screen. Okay, if you want to erase the previous, then we have to use this CLR SCR keyword in the C language. Okay, and always keep this habit to save the program. When you write something, and always keep this habit to save the program. You may save your program with your name or any like this. Let us put here Mangesh. Okay, okay. So you can see the name is now Mangesh. Okay, program name is Mangesh. Now I have said it. If I run it, so Control F9 is the shortcut key for running the program. So you can see, I will run it again. Control F9. We can see only one sentence is there. Now, henceforth, only one sentence will be shown on the output screen. Why? Because of clear screen. Okay. So this is the basic part. So this way we can print a particular sentence or whatever you want to print. Even if you write here anything, it has no meaning to computer. It will only simply, this printf command is to simply uh, print a particular part of the program or anything you want on the output screen. Okay, that is the meaning of printf. Now we are going to write a certain program to add two numbers. Okay, I will give you one example to add two numbers. Okay, and for that we are going to process this particular program. So let us start with that. Now I want to add two numbers. So when you want to add two numbers in the computer, first of all, we have to store those numbers in the computer, then do manipulation. Manipulation means what? Addition, subtraction, whatever you want. Okay, and then do some calculations and then print it on the output screen. Okay, so for that, first of all, in any program, first of all, we have to specify the type of the parameter that you are going to use. Okay, parameter means what? A and B. Okay, let us say A and B are the parameters that we want to add, or two numbers that we want to add. So we have to store those number as A equal to like this. Let us say A is 4, say A is 4, okay, semicolon, B is equal to 5, and I want to add these particular two numbers. But what about this A and B? What about this A and B? Okay, so this A and B are the variables that first of all we have to specify. Okay, specify means what? Which kind of this particular parameters are those? Okay, A and B variables. Whether those variables are integer variables or float variables or character variables. Okay, integer means what? If it is a full number, then it is an integer. If it is a fraction, then we have to specify those variables in the float. Now let us assume that these two are the integers. So we have to specify these two in the integer. So the keyword for integer is int. Int, when you write this int, then it will convert to white font, okay, automatically. Okay, then one space, a comma b, a semicolon. So we have to separate these variables with a comma, and we have to end this entire integer with a semicolon. Every line you can see they ended with the semicolon. That is important. That shows the sentence is completed that at that particular pixel. Okay, so integer a and b we have specified. Now we have mentioned the values of a and b there, and say c is equal to a plus b, a plus b, okay, semicolon. Now c is another variable that also we need to specify in the integer, so I will put that c here also. Now I want this c to be printed on my output screen. So to print a particular sentence, we have to write printf as it is. See this way: printf in bracket, in parenthesis, what you want to print, parenthesis complete, bracket complete, and semicolon. But when the when a number is stored inside the computer and you want to call it on the output screen, in that case we have to write this printf this way: printf, print function. Okay, then write anything what you want to print. Say addition is, it has no meaning. Okay, but now it has meaning, percent d. Why we have put this percent d over here? Okay, I will tell you. Then here comma and c. Now this is the way we can call a number which is stored in the computer on the output screen using printf. So this is the second way we use the printf. So you can see the way is same, printf. Okay, only here is the difference. You can see this particular difference, percent d. So if you write this like this, addition is percent d, then here whatever the value we are actually specify here, that is c variable, that value will be come at this particular place, percent d. Okay, the value will be displayed, the value of the c will be displayed here at this place in this particular sentence. This is the meaning of percent d. Now why you have written this percent d here? See, percent d is right for written for integer values. Percent d is written for integer values always. If it is a float, then percent f is written. Okay, now we'll run this program and I will explain you about the float also. Okay, now let us run this program. So control F9 I will write. Okay, see, addition is 9, my name is Mangesh. Okay, so same, both the sentence were there. Addition is 9, you can see c equal to a plus b. C, a was 4, b was 5, so addition is 9. So it was there. Okay, it was. So what I will do, I will erase this particular sentence now. We don't need that in this particular program. Okay, so c equal to a plus b, addition is that. Now let us check out d equal to a by b. So can you tell me what will be the type of this character d? Obviously, as d is your division, it there are more chances that this d will be your float, okay, or fraction. So therefore, in that case, we have to mention this float here. Okay, we have to mention this float over here, right? So d equal to a by b. Okay. So we have mentioned the value of a here, b here, c here, and now we are going to print it again. Okay, so print f. We can type the same sentence in the previous sentence also here in this print also. Okay, there is no problem, but we'll write the separate division is, now what we'll write here, percent f instead of your percent d, it must be a percent f. Why? Because this value is float value. Now here it is a d. Okay, here it is a d. So now if you run this particular program, now you can see you will get the output control F9. Okay, you can see addition is 9, division is 0. Okay, why division has become 0, I will tell you that also. Okay, so and both the sentences are coming on the same line. So if you want to put the second sentence on the next line, then for that we have to press the forward slash, and then um, and n. Okay, it is here forward slash and n. Forward slash and n means what? This sentence will go on the next line. Now why it is coming 0 0? Because you can see now this d is division of a and b. Now both a and b are the integers. Both a and b are the integers. Now if you want output as your float value, then in this formula at least one must be float. At least one must be float, or the value of um, this particular a and b, either of these two must be a float. So let us put here 4.0 and see what happens. Okay. Now I will save these. Save this file first of all. F2. Yes, I want to save it. Okay. And I'll run now. Control F9. What happens here? Addition is 9. Division. Okay. 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 We'll see what's happening. 4.0 a equal to a by b. Okay. One value is float we have mentioned, but the uh, value here it is specified in the integer. Sorry. So we'll specify a in the float and we'll keep this value as 4.0. Okay. Now we'll see what happens. F2, I'm saving, control F9. Okay, you can see now these values. Addition is 9 and division is 0.8. Now it is showing the perfect values. Okay, so this way we can start writing the programs. Okay, so here using this particular program, we can add, we can subtract, we can divide any two numbers. Okay, so for this video practical lecture, um, I have covered in this particular video lecture how to start a C program, okay, then how to start writing the C program, right, on the workbench, right. So we discussed that the first part is for your header, to specify the header files, then to start the computer, what is the difference between main and void main, then what is meaning of float, integer, and then how to specify the variables in the float and integer, how to make use of printf command, okay, in this video lecture. So in the next video lectures, we are going to go in the depth, okay, so that then we can write some more useful and complex programs using a C language. Okay, so till then, um, good day and thanks for watching this video. Thank you so much.